again, good morning. And welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide, where we know nothing happens by chance, that everything is by divine appointment. And if you're tuning in at this moment, this message is for you. And as we come together in community and we feel the heartbeat of community, the 2 or 3 gathered together in my name, in a higher energy, and it doesn't matter what we call our higher power, but to acknowledge that which is within us is greater than that which resides in the world. So whatever we call God, Yahweh, Buddha, it doesn't matter, but to know there is something within us, and that there really are many, many pathways up the mountaintop, and the view is always the same from the summit. We look out on that view. And some will take a Buddhist path, and others will take a Muslim path. Others will go a Judaism path. We go a metaphysical path, but we all meet up at the summit. And our path serves us if we have joy. A 5th century monk said, joy is the most infallible sign of the presence of God. If we are not experiencing joy, we're an ego. We're invested in the outer world of conditions, appearances, and effects that show up in our life that we give our power away to. The doubts, the fears, the lack, the limitation, the scarcity looms up. We have it within us to penetrate it with our light. And not only penetrate it with our light, knowing that our light absorbs it and ultimately illuminates it. It is all bubbled up to be healed. And when we think that we've healed something and it comes up again, that's just residue. It's unfinished business that we get to direct our energy toward. This morning, my topic is that we are all miracle workers, and we are. The Course in Miracles on the very first page says nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Think about it. Herein lies the peace of God. So if we're giving our power away to conditions and appearances and effects that show up in our lives, that's our life force energy. And I'm not saying that we don't, things can be scary. Things can show up in our lives and we get that funny feeling in our solar plexus. What did Jesus do? He became the Christ because he saw the greater picture. His humanness gave way to the divine, and the Christ consciousness arose triumphant and victorious. He was asleep in a boat, and it became rocky. It became stormy. And the disciples were scared. They said, let's wake the Master. We don't know what to do here. And they woke him and said, Master, we're going to sink. It's stormy. We don't know what to do. And he said, oh, ye of little faith. He stood up, he raised his hand, and he said, peace, be still. And the storm ceased, and the waves receded. And there was that moment of clarity. So we have it within us at those moments of emotional storm, and we're thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm going to sink. We have within us that buoyancy that rises up and says, peace, be still. It is our faith that makes us whole. And what is so beautiful about this is that it is within us. We are co-creators with the universal intelligence. And when we realize that, there's true power in that. And someone said, well, somebody could really get a, really big head over all that ego. And I said, there is a very interesting line between confidence and conceit. It's called humility. I of myself can do nothing. But there is a power, a presence, an energy within me that rises up and says, peace, be still. And know that I am God. And when we get it, that we are co-creators with this higher power, this intelligence, and not only intelligence, a loving presence that enfolds us. The love of God surrounds us. The light of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And when we get that, wherever we go in the world, I say we're miracle workers because we share our light. And when we are sharing the authentic light within us, we draw others into our energy field, and they too are healed and uplifted in our energy field. Jacqueline Bambanek, Dr. Rogers' sister, went to San Diego to meet with a group. And they met up at the San Diego Mission. And the San Diego Mission has the distinction of really specializing in women, homeless women and children. So they went down there and they fed the homeless, she said, almost 300 people, with this little group. Margaret Mead said it best, didn't she? Never underestimate the power of a small group to change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. So when we think, what can one person do? Well, one person can stand in the truth and send out that light. One person can change the world by changing their consciousness. Everything is by right of consciousness. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not something for nothing. We hear all about the law of attraction and get anything you want. But the truth is, we have to what? We have to build a consciousness within us. And as we build a consciousness within us, we do attract people, places, and things that are for our highest good. And to be a miracle worker and acknowledge, my daily life is my temple and my religion, Gibran said. And I love that. My daily life is my temple and my religion. And so I'm putting out an energy field that allows me to know from whence I cometh and whither I go, as the Spirit prepares the way. And I become the lamp unto my own feet. I become the light unto my own beingness, drawing others into this light energy. And when we understand the possibilities in being a miracle worker, it's that we shine the light on whatever darkness shows up. And when I spoke to a loving friend who I originally met through Facebook, and she was talking about all the things in her life, and she really, expressed her sorrow and her energy and her son's death and all the things, her husband, that went into a shell after the son's death and all these things. And she said, I'm usually so much more positive than this. And I said, I'm a safe space for you to now let that go. Let it return to its native nothingness. And just fill that void with your love, because you're one of the most loving people I know. We all have our moments. We need a safe space at times to say, I'm feeling very disheartened or disappointed or whatever it is that we're experiencing, so that we can release it in a safe space, allow it to return to its native nothingness, and then fill that void with the loving presence of God, whatever we conceive our God to be, whatever name we put on it. So as we come together in community, realizing that we can do so much together, and Helen Keller said, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. And together is that light and that consciousness and that energy that we send out as miracle workers. And whenever I am given a spiritual treatment, and especially, we have a large Facebook following about people that are going through amazing, horrendous experiences and coming out on the other side, because they're not only as a light at the end of the tunnel, we are that light. And we let our light so shine before men and women that they see who we are, and they glorify our heaven and consciousness. They glorify that energy that we are emanating. So today when we look at, Jesus, he knew who he was. And so when someone, said, I'm blind, I've been blind since birth, he saw their energy field. He saw a greater vision, and he would put his hand and remember this charged energy from meditation, mindful meditation that Jesus was up to. And all he had to do was put his hand on this man's head and said, "Blessed are they who have eyes that see." And suddenly he could see. Because there was an energy, there was a power and a presence that laid hands on that third eye. And the eye in which I see God is the same eye in which God sees me. And that that sight was restored. And the listening to that still small voice. So he healed because he didn't see people in their infirmity. He didn't say, well, how long has it you had this? Did you take 2 aspirin and call the doctor? He just put out his hand and said, you are healed. I know that for you. I see that for you. And when people tried to worship him, he said, why callest thou me good? There is only one good, and that is God. In other words, he knew who he was. He didn't pump himself up and do the whole, I'm the great guru routine. He said, I of myself can do nothing. It's the Father within that does the work. It's the power within that does the work. Don't call me good. There is only one good. Don't worship me. It's your faith that makes you whole. He empowered us. That was his message. And what did Buddha say? His message was compassion. His message was love for all sentient beings. And he saw that our attachments are the cause of our suffering. So the moment we release our attachments, that's freedom. And what is the twin of freedom? It's responsibility. We take responsibility for our lives. And I love that biblical passage where the lion shall lie down with the lamb and a little child shall lead them. It's that childlike trust within us that leads us forward. It is that knowingness that there is a power and a presence in the universe that I can trust. And that has always been there for me, enfolding me in the everlasting arms of God's love. Whatever we conceive our God to be, whatever name we put on our higher power, to feel it, to know it, to experience it, to express it, to transmit it to those that come within our energy field. So on this glorious day, as we acknowledge that we are all miracle workers, and that, again, I saw a man today who didn't have a smile, so I gave him one of mine. That whatever expression of love, and the Course in Miracles states that all expressions of love are what? Optimal. That there is no large or small in the order of miracles. All expressions of love are optimal, because love waits on welcome, not on time. Time is of the relative world. Time is forever changing. Love waits on welcome, the welcome of the holy instant that acknowledges that each and every one of us is a child of God. And that whatever past we've had, we let that go because we are the sum total of all our experiences. And that we all have feet of clay. We're all going to lose it at times. I had a colleague, she said, sometimes I really shoot from the hip, and then I have to clean it up later. So, we all have those moments. And we forgive ourselves, and we move on. And to be as a little child that's leading the way, as a lion lies down with the lamb, as, our ego self lies down with the energy of peace. And that little child that has the faith and trust and sees the beauty in all life is leading the way for us, because that is within us. Last week I talked about inner child wisdom. The inner child, the wonder child, that knows that it came into the world to make a difference. And a story that I absolutely love is about a young boy who was walking the beach, and he was picking up starfish. And he'd pick up a starfish and he'd throw it into the sea, and he'd pick up another starfish and he'd throw it into the sea, and he'd pick up another starfish and he threw it in the sea. And a man came by and he said, "Son, what are you doing?" He goes, "Well, it's high tide right now, and I'm saving the lives of these starfish because once the tide goes out, they won't be able to have any water and they'll die." And so he was throwing them in, and he goes, "Oh, there are thousands of starfish on this beach. You can't make a difference. There's thousands." And the youth looked up at him and smiled. And he bent down and he picked up a starfish and he threw it into the sea as the little miracle worker that he was, and said it made a difference to that one starfish. So wherever we are, we have been given the tools to do what we can where we are with what we have within us. And that each and every one of us is a miracle worker. And every time we see through the appearances that show up in life, every time we send out peace and love. Through the expression of darkness, that's being a miracle worker. Every time we see and act with compassion, that's being a miracle worker. Let's not underestimate our miracles. Miracles are natural. And Dr. Holmes states in the Science of Mind textbook that they are natural, that we put that they're supernatural. But the truth is, they're all part of this amazing universal intelligence. So today, let's align on being miracle workers. Let's see through the appearances that show up in life. Let's be conscious, so conscious of our blessings and the gratitude that we have. And when we are grateful, we expand our lives in amazing ways. So it's about the gratitude, which is what? A magnet for miracles. Because when I am grateful, I am coming from the heart center. And the heart is the doorway to the soul. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man, woman hear my voice, let them answer, and I will come into them and sup with them, and they with me. In other words, I will commune. And through this holy communion of our higher power and the energy of one another, because you are as close to God as I am ever going to get. And I am as close to God as you are ever going to get. And if I am in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there truly is only one of us. The fact that we are all miracle workers. Each and every one of us extending ourselves. Maybe someone goes to San Diego and feeds the homeless. And we think what one person can do, but that collective energy makes the difference for that one starfish that we chose to reach down and to cast upon the living waters of life. So today, as I greet you and I acknowledge our divine appointment, I know that we're all going somewhere, and do you know where that is? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Because we are in a high place, and we will not come down. None of these outer things move us. We are in a high place, and we will not come down. And so it is. Namaste. The God in me salutes the God in you. Shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us, everyone. And so it is.
And so it is.